For years, the New South Wales Police have joined the Sydney Mardi Gras to show their support. But some fear the damning findings of a judicial inquiry into gay hate crimes has set back progress.
Reading the report, I just felt like I'd gone back in time, that nothing had changed.
I was really blown away in relation to what I read. What I saw was disgusting.
The inquiry, headed by Justice John Sacker, examined the deaths of more than 30 suspected gay hate crimes in New South Wales dating back to the 1970s. It's now found some of the cases were poorly investigated and that some police officers were indifferent or hostile in their response.
Hatred and prejudice against any person because of their identity is an affront to a civilised society.
The cases of Ross Warren, John Russell and Gilles Mataney were a key focus. All were found to have died around the cliffs near Bondi in the 1980s. A coronial inquest in 2005 ruled that Ross Warren and John Russell were murdered, most likely by gay hate assailants, and that it was possible that Gilles Mataney also met the same fate. But the hate crimes inquiry has now found that many years later, New South Wales Police went to great lengths to overturn those findings. And it was done in secret. Police quietly setting up Strikeforce Newand in 2015 to reinvestigate the deaths. But the inquiry has found this Strikeforce was dishonest and pursued theories of suicide or misadventure rather than murder. 116 persons of interest were previously identified. The inquiry found Strikeforce Newand investigated none of them.
Hi Stephen, thanks for being here.
Stephen Page is a former police detective sergeant. It was his investigation into the Bondi deaths that supported the findings of murder.
The evidence of murder was just overwhelming, and there was really little to none evidence in relation to accident or suicide.
So how can police have one finding and then come to another conclusion?
Don't know. There's nothing between
Because you've
these.
done the work.
We've done the work. The work was all before the coroner. All they've done is come in, have a look at the same material, throw it up in the air, come up with some different findings that absolutely suited their agenda. The problem with Newand is that I don't think they're expecting anyone to come in and check their homework, and that's where their house of cards all fell down.
While the New South Wales Police denied that Strikeforce Newand tried to undermine the coroner's findings of murder, Justice Sacker rejected that. And he found that Strikeforce Newand had mounted an unjustified and unfair attack on Stephen Page.
It was just a dirty, cheap, underhanded attack trying to make some political hot potatoes go away.
Did you feel attacked?
Oh, absolutely.
Justice Sacker found internal police reports criticising Stephen Page's investigation were unwarranted.
It's been circulated internally within the New South Wales Police, so my reputation, every time it got read, my reputation just went further and further down the drain.
How did that make you feel?
Gutted.
Over the years, the relationship between police and the LGBT community has been fraught. The first Mardi Gras in 1978 was a night of police violence against participants, at a time when homosexuality was criminalised.
It was never a crime to be homosexual, but it was a crime if you did anything about it. And that frightened a lot of people. It had a terrorising effect, and in a sense, the police conduct, which Justice Sacker reveals, was a reflection of a society of those laws and those values.
Civil rights advocate, former Justice Michael Kirby, says New South Wales Police has changed with the times. but he's critical of Strikeforce Niewand.
That wasn't a good look. There should be transparency to the full extent that is possible. And that was not, according to Justice Sakhar's findings, what happened. It was really the natural, one would say the natural, certainly the unsurprising response of a closed group who felt they had to defend the institution of the group.
Justice Sakhar stopped short of recommending police apologise to the community, but some members believe one is needed. Robin Kennedy witnessed the police violence of 1978 and says the inquiry's findings have damaged the relationship.
I would be asking the police commissioner to make a totally unqualified apology for the failure, absolute failure of police in the past to investigate these crimes fully and to treat the victims of these crimes with the same respect and commitment that they would have treated everybody else.
The police commissioner should certainly express regret. Having a police commissioner of 2024 to apologise for what was done 40 years ago is, I think, not as constructive as acting on the constructive suggestions in Justice Sakhar's report.
It's now up to the New South Wales Police Commissioner Karen Webb to respond to the inquiry's recommendations. We invited Commissioner Webb to face questions, but she declined to be interviewed. In a statement, New South Wales Police said it recognises the victims and the enduring pain and suffering experienced by their families and loved ones. The New South Wales Government is currently assessing and considering its response to the inquiry's recommendations. Stephen Page wants action, starting with a police investigation into possible new leads in the inquiry's confidential volume.
I've always been of the mind, show me, don't tell me. Words mean nothing. I'd rather see actions rather than words. Come out and show us how good you are. Don't tell us.